All right, welcome everyone to our e3TV Inspires. We are very happy today to have Maryel Neal on our show to share in her expertise as an entrepreneur, what her journey has been like, and all the things that she can share with us that she has come to understand and has learned through her experiences. Maryel is an insurance investment broker and has been for the last 15 years. She is an expert in her own right on finances and is very passionate about sharing and educating families in the finances and on any topic money related, to be able to help families not have to struggle. And through education, she has found a way to share that with the families she works with. So welcome, Maryel, to our show today, and thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So where we love to begin is just hearing a little bit about yourself and how your journey as an entrepreneur began, and what that all looked like and how that evolved throughout the years.
Well, how it began was I homeschooled my 4 children, and when they reached their young adult years, realized that one area that there was a real lack was in their financial understanding. It was an area that neither my husband or myself felt that we had a good hold of or good understanding of ourselves. We had never had anybody ever sit down with us and really explain to us how to get ahead financially. And so we started interviewing different financial people. Friends of ours that were in the field came in, sat down with us and started to educate us. And one of the friends of ours who actually took the opportunity to sit down with us, explained to us about the whole financial picture, how to bring all your finances together, working together like a machine rather than independent components on a table that never function together. And when they took our numbers and started to work with us as a family, it was a game changer for us.
Cool.
So that fascinated me. And as I had homeschooled my kids, and my kids were now at the stage where they no longer were needing me to help them with their education at home, I was thinking about, okay, now I need to get back to work myself. And being a mother, I wasn't comfortable with going into a job. I was too used to being independent and making my own decisions and wanting to move forward that way, so more entrepreneurial. Mm-hmm. And so when one of the financial companies that had actually helped us asked me if we would be interested in coming in, if I would be interested in coming in as an agent and start to learn about finances and potentially make it into a career, I thought it was a win-win situation. Right. So that's what that was how I got launched into the financial world.
Wonderful. Cool. And so when you look back, what would you say was kind of the hardest moments for yourself? Like, what was the biggest learning curve?
The hardest moment for me in my financial was we had built quite a strong team, and we opened up our own office in Duncan, and we had a good solid working, a lot of fun, and then the team members, for one reason or another, moved to other places, and suddenly I was left with no team at all working with me in this office.
Right.
And I found it very, very difficult. It was eventually I decided to close the office and no longer pay for a space that was being kept empty, that I would start to work out of the home. And then that brought me to a place of deciding, do I work on building a team, or do I work at servicing my clients and taking care of my clients? And so I had to really look at what was my heart, and what was my capacity too. I think there are a lot of people out there that have the capacity to keep 2 or 3 balls in the air. I realized I was not that type of personality. and I didn't have the skill set to do that. So then I had to decide which one was actually going to move me forward personally.
Right.
And I decided to work with clients one-on-one and to build a book of business rather than build a book of teammates. So I think that the hardest decision was basically closing the office. I felt like I was going backwards, but in the long run, it was actually a good move for me, and I'm actually better off financially now than I was when I was trying to train up and work with a team as well as to service clients.
Right. It's interesting how we can think that making a decision makes us go backwards when in the end it did propel you forward, just in a different way, in a way that you didn't expect. And so it's interesting how just trusting your instinct and going forward with that was truly the right way to go. Because sometimes like logically it doesn't seem like the right choice, but you can never go wrong with following your heart on something. Sounds like that's really what you did at that point.
That's right. That's right.
That's cool. And I think if you would agree with me, it's like the challenging part is that our mind wants to resist it or to dispute the decision or to question the choice. Would you say?
Yeah, I think there's that. And I think it's also being afraid of keeping and disappointing people and really making decisions based upon what you feel that other people have expectations of you, as opposed to making decisions that are really the best decisions for your business and your personal business.
Absolutely. Yeah. And in the end, everybody wins. Even if we think that it would disappoint, it still can push them in different directions that they would have never thought of as well. That's very cool.
Right.
And I forgot to mention at the beginning that you have 5 children. So when you were homeschooling them, that was a small business in of itself. Would you agree? That prepared you for the entrepreneurial world just by the simple fact of juggling all of that. So that's incredible. Yeah. And what a great service to them and to your grandchildren as well, to educate yourself in the financial world, to be able to pass that on to them. I think that's beautiful.
Right.
Cool.
Right.
And so from your experience in the entrepreneurial world of like being independent, where do you find the most excitement for yourself? Like, what are you most passionate about in the work that you do now?
Well, I think what I find the most exciting, and I guess maybe part of the story of how do you work with people, or even what did I learn out of that experience, is that even though I didn't have a team anymore, the biggest decision and the best decision I have ever made was to bring on a very, very good assistant. And now that I have this excellent assistant that's helping me really move, we're much more. I don't feel so much as her boss as I feel that we are partners in moving this business forward. And it's so now I can actually see that we were going to achieve our financial. I think what's exciting me the very most is I can actually see us moving forward, that I am achieving the personal goals, financial goals that I have, not for myself and for my family. And I feel like I've had some major obstacles moved out of the way, and I can start running.
That's powerful. I've heard that said a few times, how that transition to taking on an assistant can be a very difficult one when we've, for one, gotten used to doing everything on our own, that we're very independent and we know we like things done a certain way. And the idea of the extra cost of hiring someone can be daunting as well. What would you say, like having gone through that process and transitioning from being independent and from being the one that was the solopreneur to then an entrepreneur who invites in a team, because basically your assistant is your teammate? What difference would you say that makes? And is it worth that leap? And when do you know that it's time?
When you know it's time, that's kind of interesting. I think what I can only speak for myself. I really recognize that I needed to really focus on doing what builds my business, which is sitting down and talking with people. I was spending all my time doing administration.
Right.
So administration and taking care of my clients and client service, which is absolutely essential as well, because I don't charge fees to my clients. It wasn't paying me anything. So I needed to go and put into place business, contacting people, sitting kneecap to kneecap across the table with families, looking at their financial picture and seeing what we can bring along to actually help them achieve their goals. That's what pays me. And so I think that when I brought my assistant on, it unclogged a whole part of my business. For one thing, she is a far better detail person than I am. I'm not a detail person. I'm a person. I prefer to talk about the big picture strategies, the concepts, the products, that sort of thing. But sitting down and working through the very important, essential paperwork and reporting and recording and filing, all those things bogged me right down. So when is the best time to get to an assistant? I think as soon as you start realizing that your business is not going to move forward unless you have somebody come alongside that fills in that area that you're lacking in.
Right. And would you say as well that it's allowed you to put all your focus in the area that you're very skilled at, you're very strong at, and you're also passionate about? So it allows you to really focus on that and let someone else take over the areas that you now don't need to be distracted with. And she
Absolutely.
does well. And yeah, it's interesting because even the cost incurred with hiring someone gets balanced out because more business can flow at that point. And so the more revenue, then having the assistant is not even felt as a financial burden at that point, right?
That's right.
That's
right.
cool. That's very good advice. Wonderful. So we have you lined up as a speaker for our E3 Women's event on May 19th. Very excited to have you be a speaker for our women that are going to be participating and to be able to share in your wisdom and in the things that you've come to know and understand. And so I wanted to let our listeners know about this, so that we'll be in Duncan on May 19th, and Maryel will be one of our speakers. So she's got some treasures that she's going to be sharing with us, and that's very exciting. And so if anybody wants to get a hold of you and work with you, what's the best way for them to contact you?
Oh, I do texting.
I could post your contact information on our when
Absolutely.
we post this video, and so our listeners can be able to connect with you, because I think a lot of families in general would benefit from the knowledge that you're able to pass on. And can be such a major source of stress in our lives as money. And most of the time it's lack of education. And so if we're given that knowledge and given an opportunity to learn, then it can alleviate so much stress, and then we get to enjoy our life that much more, right? So
that's right. Yeah.
Thank you for choosing that path. So then you get to pass that on to all of us. And so we're excited to see you on May 19th. And is there anything else you wanted to add before we wrap up?
Yeah, I think the other thing is not only having knowledge, but also having the tools. And I think that a lot of people are not aware of what is out there. And going back to the time of homeschooling my kids.
Yeah.
The thought of homeschooling your children is usually, oh my goodness, I could never do that, until you actually get into it and you start seeing the tools that are available. It's the same thing in the financial world. There's some amazing tools that actually can help people move forward to their financial goals and achieving those goals.
Wonderful. And that's just a great relief to know that that is available. But like you said, if you don't have the connections or know of people that could offer you those tools, that makes it can be very intimidating. I know for a lot of people, just the financial world as a whole, it can be intimidating to even tackle, or we can have some money conversations going on in our head that's not so positive, depending on our childhood or our experiences with money. So to have someone like you that's so heart-centered and warm and welcoming. I know I've worked with you myself, and it's just the process felt so fluid and so natural, and the farthest thing from intimidating I could ever imagine. So I'm happy I had the honor of working with you, and I'm happy for others that will now be able to know that you're out there and you're available, and that you're willing to help. So it's a great thing. So thank you for being on our show today, and to our listeners, I will be posting links for you to get a hold of Maryel if you have any questions or if you'd like to get in contact with her. Thanks again for joining us today, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.